Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers, and welcome to Tuesday. Things are a little different today. Normally, this is a Friday that we do this episode or a Thursday, but Susie said, Bill, I've missed you for a week. I can't handle it. Let's keep going. Hi, Susie. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I don't remember saying that, but maybe my I am getting old, so my memory is going. So I may have said that and like blacked out and then said it, but I'm pretty sure that that's not what I said, Bill.
Well, wait
But
a second.
I
Wait a
I
second.
have, I don't know if miss is the word. Is there like a level below miss?
There probably is, but using the term blackout when you host a show called Bourbon and Baseball Pod on YouTube is probably not the best of terminology, but that's okay. Do what you got to
Hey,
do.
however the people want to take that, like that's fine. Like that just means that you're assuming things. And you know what happens when you assume things, Bill.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we get started, for those of you listening to this in the locker room, you already know the deal. For those of you listening to this on YouTube, Susie and I co-host a show called Astros in Orbit every week. It typically launches Friday morning, but today is just something special. I was on a road trip and we didn't get to film last week. Susie co-hosts with another gal, another show because she's just bored in life. Family's just not enough. She hosts another show called Bourbon and Baseball Pod on YouTube. So make sure that when you're subscribing to our YouTube, you're also subscribing to her. Now, it might be slightly different because this is what we call PG Susie or PG-13 Susie. And Susie on the Bourbon and Baseball Pod show, is it a little different?
On the Bourbon and Baseball show, it is a little bit different, yes. And there is two different versions of that. There is the All the Balls edition, which covers all of the MLB, and then there is the Astros edition. And that both of those are what we like to call rated R. You
Yeah.
will you will get rated R Susie over there. But you'll
So
get PG-13 Susie over here. So
two things you need to know, Top Fan Rivalry followers, is one, Susie still hasn't invited me this year to be on her show at all. But that's fine. I guess I was on in October, September, something like that. So it's like a once every 2 or 3 year invite. And then number two is Susie will probably be hosting the Top Fan Rivalry After Dark for us whenever we launch that version. Because I won't be there on that, but I'm sure Susie will do just fine. So Susie, you and Big Dave can play co-host on that one. How's that?
I you want to talk about spicy. That will be very, very spicy. That may be like your highest rated show. I'm just saying, Bill. That's
But
you
you
pair you
know,
pair Dave and I up like
and just say, go at it. Why not? Why not?
exactly.
Why not? Why not? Okay, so Susie, the last time we talked, I'm going to use this word very lightly but very direct. The Astros sucked,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. There's no
and they
dancing
don't
around it. That's totally fine.
they don't suck as much anymore. Um,
Correct.
you took care of Detroit. You're now playing Oakland. So tell me, talk to me about what we've learned about the Astros in the last week and a half.
The last week and a half, what we have learned about the Astros is that if we can get any sort of, like decent starting pitching, the offense will maybe take the baton and do its best to try and continue that. There has been the issue of runners in scoring position.
Mm-hmm.
Astros fans will know that, we are mid-tier when it comes to getting those guys in, from second base. Our favorite pastime, however, is just leaving them out there. They want to enjoy the sights, maybe they think that, we don't travel enough. I don't know. They just want to take a look around the ballpark. They don't want to come in to the dugout. Like who wants to sit in a dugout?
Who wants to do
Not
that?
us. Not us. No, no. We'd just rather just stay out over there on the bases. But yeah, no, it's been a good little road trip. We went 500 on the road trip. Yankees and Tigers, and then this next 2.5 weeks or so will probably either make or break the season for us. It's, we have the homestand, four with the A's, three with the Brewers, three with the Angels. So lots of like quote unquote in division, A's and
Yeah.
Angels. And we have, I say we, I have long said that the A's are our daddies. Not even this year. Last season, the season before that, we've been swept by the A's inexplicably. Just I don't know why. They just wanted to phone it in. And this season, we are looking up at the A's that are, I believe, 2 games ahead of us now
Right.
in the standings. And so this next stretch of games will determine how the rest of our season goes, essentially, I think. Um, you know, if I were to tell you at the beginning of the season that the Astros and the A's, one was going to have a 14-1 record of if they held the lead in the 7th inning on,
Yeah.
and I told you that you have a choice between the Astros and the A's to tell me which of those teams that stat would be corrected by. And I told you the back end of the Astros bullpen was Brian Abreu, Ryan Presley, and Josh Hader. And I would tell you that the back end of the A's bullpen is, like Austin Adams, Lucas Urseg, and Mason Miller. Most fans would be like, I don't know who those people are. What are you talking about, Susie? Do you even know ball? I'm going to take the Astros. And most people would be wrong. Most people would be wrong because it is the Oakland A's that has the lockdown bullpen, not the Houston Astros. That's okay though. That's okay. Baseball gods said, we just we don't like any of those fans just being cocky and thinking that they know ball. We're gonna make them look like fools. That's what we're gonna do, and we are going to turn everything on its head. Oakland Athletics, you shall be good for a while.
So, okay. So I agree with you. If I were betting in Las Vegas and a city that you're familiar with, if
Yes.
I were a betting person and I went to Las Vegas and I said the first 40 games, the the Houston Astros, who have been to 7 league championship series in a row, are going to be under 500 by 10 games, I would never have made that bet. I don't care if somebody said, "Here's $100. It's 100 to 1 odds. I'm giving you the free money." I would still tell them keep your money because this is a losing bet. So, but baseball is a weird game. You and I talked about this at the beginning of the season. You said something, and I'll have to have the Top Fan Rivalry sports desk pull up the quote. But you basically said once we get to the 7th inning, it's a lockdown.
It is. It should have been. It should have been. But baseball gods heard us. Baseball gods said, nope, nope, nope. That's Susie girl. No, we don't like how cocky she has gotten about baseball in general. But basically about, like the Astros. So no, we're gonna make her look like a fool. And like she doesn't know what she's talking about. And we're gonna turn everything on its head. And if you were to say that Seth Martinez and Ronel Blanco out of the entire Houston Astros pitching staff were going to be your lockdown people,
Yeah.
no one was going to believe you. But Ronel Blanco being my ace, that's what we're gonna go with.
So yes, yeah, and Mr. White, I didn't realize that he was going to be as good. Remember, he threw a no hitter. Um, here's what I think is interesting. By the way, can we still be friends if I tell you one thing?
Mm, it depends. Tell me the one thing and then I'll let you know.
I dropped Presley from my fantasy.
Okay, I don't blame you for that.
It was too much. I was just getting manhandled by this guy, and it always seemed like when I was in a close race in a week that I needed him to be just normal. I didn't even need him to be lights out. He was screwing me with my pants on. It felt like I'm like, all right, you're done. So,
Did you try and pick up Mason Miller instead?
no, I did not. I probably should look at it, but if you looked at my now, I do have Jeremy. I want to show off my pecs for every woman in the off season. Pena on my team, which has helped immensely
It should
because
that should have netted you a ton of points.
that homie is good this year. And I told you I know that he was off last year, but I told you this kid's good.
Oh yeah, no,
So
the peripherals on him say that he is supposed to be an above average player. Unfortunately, last season we did not see that guy, but the defense was still there. The glove was still there. It's just and the power, I don't know why I said it like that. Power was still there. It just wasn't showing it as much as we wanted it to.
mhm,
And this season, I quite honestly, I think I would actually take this season Jeremy Pena
mhm,
over last season Jeremy Pena, like by leaps and bounds, just because he's that guy that is going to try and like pass the baton and not swing for the fences. And unfortunately, that's what I think. I wouldn't say 90% of our problem with runners in scoring position is, but a lot of it. It is a lot of it. It is a lot of guys trying to swing out of their shoes and not passing the baton. And when we've done well, that's what we've been doing. The guys have been taking really good at bats, laying off balls outside the zone, and taking their walks if needs be. And, Jake Myers, for as much crap as I've given Jake Myers over the seasons, Jake Myers came in that last Detroit game. I think he came in the seventh, three at bats, three RBIs. So he's been swinging the bat much better. Mauricio Dubon has been swinging the bat much better.
which is hard for you to
And
say.
it is. Well, no, I've always said that Mauricio Dubon has always been a above average player. I just don't like the way that he's been used in the outfield
Okay,
for us
fair enough.
because there has
Fair enough.
just been a clog of the outfield. We have outfielders. But the way that Mauricio has been playing, it is hard to justify him not being in the lineup on some days. So,
Mhm, yeah. Now I heard this yesterday, and I couldn't agree on the podcast right away, because it would look like I was favoring the Astros. And trust me, I get a bunch of heat all the time. People are telling me all the time, I know you're a Dodger fan, you have a tremendous Dodger following, but like you're also an Astros fan. I'm like, wait a second. But what they did say yesterday is they said, quote, you need Seattle and Texas need to start winning and fast because you're not going to be able to keep Houston down. And their argument was Houston's playing like crap right now, but that's not going to last. And, being a game over 500 or two games over 500, Houston's going to end up taking it with no problem. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. And whoever said that would be correct because if Seattle had any sort of offense, Seattle would be running away with the division right now.
yeah,
The only reason that they are on top as far as they are is because of that lockdown pitching that they've had. Unfortunately, Matt Brash has gone on the IL now, which was one of their lockdown relievers.
yeah,
And so I don't think that this run that Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo and George Kirby and Bryce Miller and Brian Wu have been on can continue the entire season. Um, so at some point in time, they're going to come back down to earth and, you know, will be that team that the Astros have known them to be for the last couple of seasons.
yeah.
So, and the fact that the Rockies just swept the Texas Rangers in Colorado shook me to my core. I was expecting Adolis Garcia and Marcus Simeon to put up some numbers in Coors Field. And the
Right.
fact that they didn't also
Yeah.
filled me with delight and joy.
Well, I just interviewed a Colorado Rockies fan, and she's actually on the podcast today, and they've won five in a row. And nobody's paying attention to it because they're the third worst team in baseball. But the Rockies are a unique team. They're nobody expects them to do anything, so they can just go out and play the game. Whereas when the Astros lose one game, the sky's falling. When the Astros lose two games, you know, uh, hell has froze over. When the Astros lose like three games in a row, like we're looking like to see if we're still alive. This isn't
Oh
supposed to
yeah,
happen.
no, don't get me. A lot of the big national podcasts have basically declared us dead. Like they've lost all faith in us, and we do not expect Astros to do anything uh for the rest of the season. I'm all folks like I understand, like I get it, but we're literally a quarter of the way through.
Yep.
There is no way that you can believe that. I mean, that's fine if you want to say that the Mariners and the Rangers are better than us this year. That fine. Okay, like I will give you that, but there's no way that you can look at this team and our track record and say that we're not going to be better than this.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
there's just no way.
Your entire can and is this I shouldn't say your entire season, but is this fair to say? Now, again, I'm not picking on you, but I have a little bit of Astros contingent, right? And some people feel this way. You are in the middle of a 29 games in 30 days stretch. This, I think, is going to make or break your season. If you finish this 30 game stretch, still 10 games under 500, I, mm, there's a lot of moving parts there that you're going to have to come up with. Am I misspeaking, or do you agree with that?
Nope. No, I agree with you. But again, this is one of those situations where did you expect our entire pitching rotation to go
No,
down within the
no,
first couple of weeks of the season? No. Did
no.
you expect Spencer Arrighetti and Blair Henley to like come up and
No.
be in the like that's not what anyone expected. Did anybody expect um Alexander David Bregman to be the absolute worst player on this team now that Jose Abreu is gone?
Hold it. He
No.
just did two Jimmy Jacks last night.
Yeah. Last night, last night is the exception. Last night is the exception. I don't, I don't know if he's heard me call him by his full government name the last couple of weeks and said, you know what, I don't want Susie Smoke anymore. I can't handle that. And went back and did the things. I don't know. I don't know. Only he can tell you.
So
Last night was I feel like maybe the turning point. He went back to whatever he was doing beforehand and, hit two home runs, and that third double that he hit with like, three more feet would have been three home runs on a grand slam. So, I don't know if it's the headband that he is now sporting that is now the thing, or if he heard me call him by his government name and
so
was like, can't do that anymore.
so
Got to
you
turn it
have
up.
for those of you that haven't experienced this, I would recommend that everybody in the US of A go to Minute Maid at some point when Susie is there. Hang out with Susie and listen to her talk to players and say things like, make me say good things about you. I'm telling you, if you haven't had this experience, you have not lived in life. Some people say, oh, gee, I want to see the pyramids or I want to see whatever. No, you want to see Susie at Minute Maid Park talking to the players from up in the cheap seats like they can hear her and
Hmm.
she doesn't even care.
Nope, don't care.
That's your experience.
It's a good time. I'm just telling you right now, it is a fabulous time. And if you're one of those people that likes to have like conversations at baseball games, don't I'm not the person to go with. I'm not the person to go with. I have to be locked in to every pitch. I need to be locked in. I need to be locked in. Like don't try and talk to me about plans for no. We're talking about this game.
Now, Susie, I'm with you. I like to be locked in because I like to analyze things, be able to talk about it on different podcasts. But now, with what we do with Top Fan, it almost feels like I'm at work all the time when I'm at games. Because people want to talk. They want to, what did you think about this? And I can't be rude. Maybe I need to just hire you to just be my rude person. Like, leave Bill
I
alone.
think I would be fabulous at that job. 1000%. So if anybody needs a rude person or if anybody needs someone as like a body barrier in order for them to get I'm your girl. I'm your like
Susie's your
that.
girl.
I think that would encompass all of my non-people skills to a T. My
Perfect.
RBF that I don't even have to practice, it is just my face, will be put to such good use. You have no idea.
Okay, Miss Susie, I got two more questions for you. I'm gonna I'm going to preface it with, quoting one of my favorite TV shows, Friends. I can't remember.
Okay.
Were you a Friends person or no?
I was.
Okay. So you remember the episode where Ross laminated his freebie list? You remember
Mm-hmm.
that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that haven't watched Friends, Ross and Rachel are talking about celebrities that, if they met, they can, whatever. And Ross went so far as to laminate his card. Um, so let's talk about somebody on your laminated card. Okay. Kyle Tucker is destroying the ball currently. Like every time I turn around, he's have a double or a home run. Talk to me about King Tuck.
Whatever money they being the front office would were even possibly thinking about giving to Alex Bregman, you just give all of that money to Kyle Tucker. All of the money to Kyle Tucker. I don't even care about last night's performance with Alex Bregman. Like that's great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Alexander David Bregman is like, oh, it is mid-May. I gotta turn it up. We typically I wait till like the end of May, but I gotta turn it up now. I don't even care. You give all of that money from Alexander David Bregman and you just give all of that to Kyle Tucker. I don't even care. I don't care if it's 9 majillion trillion gajillion dollars. You just all of the money to Kyle Daniel Tucker. I don't actually think that's his name, but I'm gonna make it his name.
Okay.
All of it,
So,
all of it.
ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have a question, reach out to Kyle Tucker's agent, Suzy Q. You can find her here on Top Fan Rivalry. She is a fantastic agent for Kyle Tucker. I
Yeah.
will tell you though, every time I look at the box score and I see that he's done something, I do think of you.
Leads the league in home runs,
Uh-huh.
13. Yep, that would be that guy over there, Kyle Tucker. Yeah, that guy. Mm-hmm.
That guy. That guy.
Mm-hmm.
That guy. He's not just the guy, he's that guy.
That
So,
guy. Yes.
okay. Final question for you as we're running out of time because I know people need to get to work. So here's the thing. The Astros are in the middle of this 29 out of 30 days stretch. Talk to me. Who do you guys play after the A's?
Brewers.
Okay. So talk to me about these two series. You got the A's series, you got the Brewers series. Talk to me about both of them real quick.
Um, we've got three more with the A's and then three more with the Brewers. Christian Javier, who did not have a great start in that last Tigers series, is going to start the last game of the A's series. And
Okay.
Hunter Brown, who came in for relief of Christian Javier, is going to start game one of the Brewers series. I think that's actually a great kind of idea. Christian Javier was coming off of a neck injury, neck something, I don't know, a stiff neck, and that's why he was on the IL.
Yep.
And it looked like he maybe needed a little bit more time on the IL or maybe another rehab start. I don't know. But his velocity was down on his fastball, the last couple of fastballs that he threw in that Detroit series. So I'm hoping that a couple more days, it'll get a little bit better. We'll see. But the fact that, he's the last game of the A series, and now I don't expect to sweep the A's 4 game series are hard to sweep regardless of who they are. Um, so I don't expect us to win that game. I'm going to just say that right now. If we win it, great. If not, I will say that I do expect us to win this series because we have to win the series. And then Hunter Brown going in the first game for the Brewers, I think depending on how it lines up with that staff, it will be kind of it will be a gut check for Hunter Brown in and of itself, just because Hunter Brown has been known to give up the first and second inning. If
Yeah.
he can get through the first and second inning, he's good and he's locked in. So I think if he and everyone's like, oh, well, get him an opener. okay, guys, but at some point, Hunter Brown still has to come in and still has to have a first inning of himself. So everyone's like, oh, well, it's Christian Javier. Like, that's what he did. And I realized the pressure was off of Hunter Brown by then. The
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers were already up 7-0. And so I think Hunter just came in and was like, I can't really mess it up anymore, can I? So
I'll just get you some
depending,
outs.
yeah, like I said, depending on how that lines up with the Brewers series, will kind of determine how that goes, I think. But
Yeah.
don't discount the Brewers though, because between Wilson Contreras and Christian Yelich is back now, and Willie Adames, and they've got a bunch of young guys that literally, if you're not a Brewers fan, you're not going to know who they are or what position they play. But don't sleep on them. Do
Yeah.
not sleep on the Brewers. Let me just tell you
Well,
all the Astros fans now, don't sleep on the Brewers.
well, here's the thing. That entire division minus one team is I know the Pirates are struggling right now and the Reds are struggling right now, but the Brewers, the Cubs, the Pirates, and the Reds are all going to be a lot of fun to watch down the
Oh
stretch.
yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely.
um, they're the Cardinals probably better luck next year.
Yeah, we
They're
don't know what's going on with the Cardinals.
Yeah, don't tell Kelsey I said
Oh yeah, no, no, Kelsey is fully aware.
that. Okay, let's just keep that between us girls.
Yeah,
By the way, I was at Bush this last week and it was amazing.
I hear it's great atmosphere. I hear it's
Yeah,
great atmosphere. It's just
it
yeah.
was. So okay, so Susie, here's what we're gonna do. You are going to tell everybody if you are listening to this in the locker room, you already know this information. You can still use her code, you can get a little discount. If you're watching this on YouTube, there are a number of things that we are going to be dropping. Um, but first, let's start with your discount code. Susie, how did they get 10% off using a discount code?
Just type in my little name, Suzy, Suzy, and then the letter Q. Suzyq. Suzy Q.
Suzy
Nice
Q.
and easy. 5 letters. Shouldn't be hard to remember.
And if it is, well, we got something else that we can help you with, I guess. Um,
Exactly.
but Susie, I appreciate everything that you do. You are, if you haven't figured this out yet, Top Fan Rivalry followers, Susie is fantastic when it comes to baseball. Um, Once I interviewed her once, I realized I got to do a show with this lady. I mean, this lady is amazing. So we do a weekly show. Check it out. Typically, it's in the locker room for the next 2 weeks. It will be on YouTube. Make sure that you're following us, subscribe to the Top Fan Rivalry page. Also, go and hit that subscribe button if you're not onto Bourbon and Baseball podcast with Susie. You will find if you thought she was hilarious today, go listen to some of those. Now, free of charge. Listen to them without the kids. Because if
Absolutely.
not,
Yeah.
the kids are going to go to school, they're going to use some stuff, they're going to use some language, and you're going to get a call from the principal. Which,
Yeah.
if you didn't like going to the principal's office as a kid, you will have a second chance. So that's just fair warning. That's my public service announcement. I've done my best, Susie. Um, if you have any issues whatsoever, my enforcer, his name is Big Dave. You can feel free to reach out to him. He'll take care of the rest of the business. So,
I'm just
Susie,
between Big Dave's size and my RBF, Bill, we would be the best security ever. Ever. I'm just
awesome. You're hired. You're hired. There you go.
yeah.
Well, Susie, let's do it again this week. Again, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube page for Top Fan Rivalry and Bourbon and Baseball. Susie, we're going to do it again.
I'm excited.
Have a good one.
Bye.